15th, 2024. It is 10:06. We will call this meeting to order. We've established we do have a quorum. We will forego the consent agenda and move on to our regular agenda item. Our first case is DD 24-09, 210 West Beauregard Avenue, a request for design approval of a covered parking structure on the back of their lot at 210 West Beauregard in the downtown overlay district.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry, planner. And this one is at 210 West Beauregard. They are looking at putting a car, I'm going to call it a carport, but covering for their parking in the back. It is in District 3, CBD, downtown, and it is the downtown district. It is not historical. So that's a street view. You can only see it as you head east down Beauregard. I believe that's east. So it is right here along the building. And then they're going to have one more right here. And they are using metal that they will be painting the little black dress. And then burnished slate. It's kind of a, well, in the picture, I want to say it's like a grayish black for the top portion. It is our panel. The applicant is here with some samples. So with that, staff is recommending approval with the conditions that the colors, dimensions, and materials be consistent with the renderings approved here, and that the applicant obtains any building permits required.
I have a question. How far is the structure away from the building?
It looks to be on the building. The building department is working with the applicant on that.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Ray?
Looks like there's a fence shown.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
building a fence.
There is also a fence that will be right along in here.
What is that material going to be made out of?
It is wood. Kind of looks like in the picture they're going to have some of the metal there on the wood, but it is wood according to the application.
Will it be painted or stained? Is it cedar?
Privacy fence.
Looks like it's stained.
As I say, I'm not sure on that one. Hint is here.
And so the other carport, the one on the right, it's up against the building too? Or what?
Yes.
Okay, maybe, I just have a question about that. I thought, I guess the permit people will take care of that, but if you have a structure that's within 10 feet of the building on commercial, it has to be sprinkled. Is that correct?
In this case, I'm sorry, my microphone went off. In this case, this is Central Business District, so there aren't any zoning setbacks. There still are building code setbacks. If you're within 0 to 10 feet, there is fire rating that
That's what
may
I
need
thought.
to be
There's a
taken.
fire rating on that.
There probably is a fire rating. I know our building official and staff has talked with the contractor. The contractor's here. He may have a solution for that.
Okay.
Our only concern was when it comes down to DHRC is the one that's on this side that you can kind of see is if that fire rating is going to make any kind of design change on that side, because that is a property line there too. And so there's two property lines. And
Yes.
that's the concern. The one over here, you really can't see if when they do fire rating, whatever that fire rating needs to be per the building codes, you're not going to be able to visually see it from the right-of-way, where you might see it from the other. And it may simply just be a certain type of paint coating or something that gives a fire rating that actually allows for that structure to be there. But I think and the contractor could speak to that maybe a little better, but he is aware that that would be a requirement.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Ray? Okay, thank you. We will open it up for public comment. Is there someone here? If you'll state your name, please.
Brody Dobbins, North Star Construction.
Yeah, have y'all addressed that issue on?
I'm going to be replying to that today. I've been looking through the codes. As far as the smaller structure that's closer on the south side of the building, if you get it within a 5-foot separation, the note left for me on the comments was that would negate needing any kind of a firewall on it. So that one,
You mean
I'm
5
ju-
feet all the way around, or just,
5 feet from the property line side. So where shown there, it's basically just going to shrink a little bit and kind of shuffle over to get that 5 feet off that property line. And then for the longer structure that is on the shared line with property next door, that party wall is shared on the property line, and it's masonry, like 4 hour probably. So I can build within that 5-foot mark.
so that's
I'm
been
having
addressed
it,
with the
I'm having
fire?
it like a foot and a half off.
Yeah,
The metal, the posts are actually inset.
yeah.
It's got a little
Because they're not really
cantilever to
worried
it.
about the structure burning, they're worried about the car catching on fire.
Yeah.
So that's been addressed by the fire marshal? They, or is
I
it all work-
haven't
Oh.
got the comment back to them of how I'm addressing it.
Okay,
Basically, just there can't be any projections or openings on that masonry wall, which there aren't.
exactly.
So it should be fine to be with.
Okay,
at
I'm
the
just
zero.
concerned if you have to back it up, is there gonna be enough room when you put that fence up to back up?
That would be problematic.
That's where
If you
I'm-
had to set it back off,
Yeah,
you
if you
could,
have to
you
go.
can still maneuver because of the cantilever design. It would just be awkward because the parking spaces would kind of pull out into the drive line for the owner's parking, which is the out by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It could still work, it would just look goofy.
And staff did confirm that behind the parking spaces to the fence, there is 18 feet, which is the allowable maneuvering space.
Yes.
If you change the degree angle to a more severe degree, you could shrink that if necessary. I think he's looking for a solution that he doesn't have to do that if there needs to be a solution on the building side of it. But he does have enough maneuvering space at this time.
And it
Okay.
doesn't look like that fence goes full length of the,
Yeah, there's,
it's only going up to like the first space.
2 or 3?
yeah, there's an existing curb kind of footing there in the parking lot, and I was just using that as kind of the stopping point. He wanted a little privacy from the road of his parking, so I just took the fence out to that curb. Because as it is, both parking lots, people are just kind of
Yeah,
maneuvering
that's
through
a
them.
wonky parking lot.
Yeah,
How tall is that fence gonna be?
8 foot. And it'll be stained cedar,
Oh.
with steel posts in between.
It looks nice.
So it'll look like that on the back side too, like we're
Yeah,
looking at
yeah,
the inside, so
it's
the back's
similar
not-
both sides.
Great.
Any other questions? Okay. All righty, thank you, sir. Okay, anybody else have any comments? Nope. We'll close that, move on to staff, to,
I'll
Committee?
move to approve.
okay, get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to our next case. DD 24-10, 220 South Abe, a request for approval of flat metal square black awning over front double doorway landscape lighting and a wooden black cement block fence enclosing the yard at 220 South Abe in the downtown overlay district.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sherry Bailey, Principal Planner. You have before you, I'm sure you recognize this structure. It's been prominent on Abe Street for a number of years. It's, to my knowledge, from all the research I could do, it's always been used as an apartment house. It was built with that intention. It's in the Central Business District. It's in District 3. It's the neighborhood downtown, and it's in the downtown district overlay. As you can see also on the existing picture, was originally a peaked roofed entrance over the two front doors, which matched the top of the building, and so kind of lent a uniform look to the structure itself. This is the proposed renovation that the applicant would like to do on the building. They are changing out the trim on the windows. It appears going to the dark trim. They're changing out perhaps to a darker door. Then looking to do a flat black wrought iron awning with supports anchoring it to the wall. Then they're proposing to do a combination composite fence and then concrete block topping on it and painting the concrete block black. The composite fence would be a cedar in color. And then their intent is, I believe, is to have some landscape lighting on the ground or low to the ground to give it kind of a newer look to the existing structure. This is how the structure looks right now. It has not had all of the changes accomplished that it was intended to have. When it was originally built, and I want to go back to that picture, the entrance that was on there was an entrance that was mainly the same material as the building itself, and then it had the metal roof on that entrance, and that was on both the front and the side entrances into the area. They are looking to do the same little black dress, which is a kind of a matte steel awning black baked into the color. Then the black brick, which will work nicely with that color, and then the Japanese cedar, as I said, will present the kind of the light contrast that draws attention to that enclosing fencing that will go around the building. Staff looked at it for a long time. I looked at some older pictures, some of the more original pictures of the building, and in evaluating the black wrought iron and the nature of the building itself, it just did not seem that they meshed well. And part of our guidelines when we're looking at anything that's developing in that area is that it needs to blend with the building, that it needs to be part of or a natural development, if you will. Not saying that it has to replicate the old, but that it needs to blend well, and that flat black awning seemed out of character with the building. And so staff is recommending that there be a denial and to look more at keeping that same pitch on that front entrance that matches the roof. Since the roof is a silver, keeping the kind of silver look to the entrance going into the building, because the only black thing then that would really be on a physical part of that structure would be this awning entrance. Other than that, the other conditions are that all colors, dimensions, materials of all improvements shall be consistent with what they've proposed, and that the applicant shall get his required permits, and that all new front facade glass shall be clear, non-reflective glass as is required in our ordinance. And with that, are there any questions you have for staff?
So they're not proposing to paint the metal roof on top? They're just going to leave it?
There was nothing in the application that told me they were going to paint the metal roof.
Okay. Now, how tall is that fence? I thought it had to be 4 foot when it's in the front of a property like that. It looks like it's 6 foot to me, or 5 foot.
It was, I'll be honest, it was hard for me to tell. It could be, depending if it's 2 foot and then the brick on top, it could meet the 4 foot.
If these breeze blocks are 8 inches, then that would be a 16-inch on
16.
the top. So that would give you that, the cedar, it could be up to 2'4" and still be under the
Under the 4 foot?
2'8" and still be under the 4
Yeah.
foot. If the assumption is that that's an 8-inch breeze block, it might be.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
I have a question too about how they're even going to build it like that. Are they going to, how are they going to, I mean, I guess, I wish the applicant was here. I mean, if you got concrete breeze block on top of that wall, is that going to be, and then they're going to attach wood to that structure underneath, or what? Yeah, Jeff's not here.
The applicant's representative is here,
Oh,
who's
good.
going to be doing the
Oh,
work.
perfect.
And I think he can answer your
Okay,
question.
any other
Okay?
questions for Sherry?
I-
Nope.
And I just do want to bring up that if you can go to that first image, Sherry,
The very first one?
there has been work done on this building without permits.
Well, that's what
and
I
without
thought,
a
because the building
demolition.
used to be white.
The building used to be white, so there are some things here that have not come through you guys yet and have not been approved administratively. Also, looking at that front courtyard, there's not a whole lot of room. While I like their design as far as, oh, they're making some outdoor space for this apartment, that's TxDOT right-of-way, and I'm not sure where that TxDOT right-of-way stops, but that's something we'll have to consider when they get ready. While the design might be approved of, okay, if it's under the 4 foot, we'll allow you to do this design type, the actual location, depending on where that
Yeah,
right-of-way is, might be
That was my next
different.
question. Yeah, it looks like it's in the right of way to me.
It could be, I don't really know yet. We have not gotten that far on the project.
Well, because I'm doing a project down the street and it's almost 10 feet,
Yeah,
so that's.
So it's just-
That's right
it could make
on.
it tight.
Yeah.
Again, design-wise, that might be appropriate. I don't know if windows have been changed out. We know doors have been changed out. We know there's been interior remodeled that has not gone through the permit process yet. So there's still some big questions for this project that are mostly on the permitting side. But we just want you to be aware there have been changes externally that has not been approved yet.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. We will open it up for public comment. Is there someone here?
Dobbins. This project was something the owner, Mr. Padilla, started, and I think he took control of it in '23, but in '22 it had already received letters from the fire marshal about it being an unsafe structure, or the previous owner had. None of those were ever addressed by the previous owner, and I assume that letter that was written was not really part of the sale. It wasn't made aware to him. But he had started doing work, and now he's trying to retroactively, try to get it all in order with the city. So trying to help him out on that end. The design in front was something he had already kind of come up with, and as you've seen, the awning was taken down because it was falling down, but he didn't get a demo permit or approval from DHRC. So, as far as the awning goes, I think he may be okay with just going back how it was. I think the fence was more something he was hoping to achieve.
I mean, I like the fence, it's just how is he gonna construct that? Are they gonna build it all out of block? or-
It'll have block on the lower section and then use some hat channel to attach the composite
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
that composite wood, and then the breeze block on top. Do you know if he's planning on painting that roof black or just,
I haven't,
I mean, I
I
kinda
don't
agree with
think-
staff, it looks like
I don't
it's
think the
kinda-
roof is showing black here. That may just be the shade, the shadow. The awning was gonna be black.
Mhm.
I think in my rendering, I just left. We haven't discussed the roof at all.
Okay.
With energy code, that roof is probably, if it's a less than, I think, 2 and 12 slope, it has to have a certain solar reflectance, and so painting it black's probably not viable. Anyway.
So could you repaint it silver and then paint the awning silver like that?
I mean, maybe, I'll hold my thoughts on it until after we're done.
Yeah, but they can't-
With public comment, but,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I mean, I can't quite tell what the slope of that roof is. If it's,
It's about 4 on
I
12,
think it's
3 or
4
4
and
on
12.
12.
okay, if it's 4 and 12, then if it's
Yeah.
greater, it just has to be greater than 2 and 12, so it's,
And like I said, in the rendering, it's just showing the shadow there on the eaves. I believe it's still silver.
Is there gonna be any,
We're not planning to paint the roof.
is there gonna be any lights under that canopy or on the front of the building?
So I brought a
Didn't
sconce light that he had provided to me there'd be sconce light at each door. And I didn't get a sample of inside of the fencing. There's path lighting on the sidewalks.
if anything, I think that awning ought to be bigger. It ought to encompass more over those, go almost all the way to the windows, so that if you're gonna put your sconce lights, they'll be
They
under
would
the
be
cover.
under 'em.
and It just provides a little bit more protection, as it's shown.
Okay. Pictures. I don't know if I had any more. Oh, there.
See, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but you'd like it to go
Yeah, just a little more.
a little bit
proportions.
further out.
And so,
And-
if y'all are involved, is the fence 4
The
foot?
fence
What
is,
is it?
this, that
that-
is a 4-foot fence.
Okay.
It's hard to tell
Yeah, it's
scale
hard to tell,
sometime
there's
in
no
these.
dimension.
Part of redoing these sidewalks is bottom floor is gonna have to be type B accessible, so it's gonna have to all be ripped out and then
What is he doing
Right.
for parking? Where's the parking gonna be?
his initial plan was,
I know he owns that building to the right.
yeah, to put in parking there or have them park there. As far as I know, like CBD, like it's not required for parking, but
Is this in the central business district? It is? Okay.
Yes, sir. You're likely gonna need a ramp.
yes, there's a ramp on the right side and the left side up to those units.
Okay.
Because this is just the entrance to a stairwell that takes you to the 4 units on the top, and then stairwell's on the north side of the building. We are looking at west side. So, yeah, some ramps and just general, making it actually accessible. All of the new sidewalks.
What color will the wood be stained?
Wood?
I see Japanese
Uh,
cedar, but is
No,
that,
it's a composite.
It's a composite,
The
so
colors
it-
in the wood.
it's already,
Yeah,
so it's
it's-
that light?
Yes,
Light
and
wood
it has a
color.
little variation in it to give it a more natural look. Wasn't able to get a sample of that time. But similar to the rendering, it'll have a little variation in it.
I don't see any guardrails. I'm assuming I'm looking at a ramp going to that front door, but it's hard to tell.
Right there is a step. It's just a single step.
Oh, okay.
The ramps are on the sides of the building, so the sidewalks go all the way around, and there's more entrances to other units on the sides.
So
See the
Oh, yeah.
It
side
looks
view
like that
there.
ought to be a bigger step too.
it's gotta be, you gotta come up to a 5-foot landing by code.
Yeah. Yeah, all those sidewalks are 5 foot wide, and
So where does that door go to, that side door?
that's another unit. So there's
Because there's 4 units in that thing.
there's 8 units.
Eight units.
Yeah, they're small. One of these front doors, where there's 2, is to a stairwell. So that stairwell takes you up to a landing that gives you the entry to second floor units. The rest of them are just individual entrances.
And then no painting, any more painting on the front? The brick stays
He
gray?
just painted
He
that.
had already
That's that.
painted it.
So are we, how does that work? Since he's already painted, is that just gonna be administratively, or can we, I mean,
Well, I think you'll have the purview to make the decision. We have not made any decisions as administratively by staff
yeah.
to make the decision if it needs to go back. I thought it was like a white color
It
or a
was
lighter
white.
color. I think it may have already been painted brick. I could be wrong.
It was painted brick.
And so that is a decision that's on the table for you guys if you're willing to accept the painted brick. So yeah, this, again, and I think Sherry Bailey mentioned that this is just in the downtown design district, and it does not have a historical designation. So it's not necessarily held to the actual historical threshold of you should not paint brick, you should not do these types of things, you shouldn't change the architecture of the building. They're recommending to change the architecture a little bit with that with the flatter roof, and we're like, well, you can kind of see where the holes are, where the beams would come out, and held that supportive kind of a gable end roof there. But because you can just barely see the faint outline on the front of it for those that, I don't remember if the other side had the gable roof, but it's really 3 of those, I think, over each entrance. But as far as the painting of the brick color, I think city staff is okay with that color for the brick. I think the apartment building needs to be saved, or it's going to continue to deteriorate and become very unusable and be another building that just can't get moved into. So we commend them for trying to make an effort at this. We got to find the right ways to get them there.
Okay.
Have the windows already been changed?
Yeah, he changed them out. There were
I
wood
believe
windows.
so, yes.
Yeah.
Gutted on the interior right now, and there's gonna likely need to be some structural work done because it was put on the unsafe buildings list. So as far as I read the letter, it sounds like an engineer's gonna have to sign off on the structure, even if it was grandfathered that and has existed there with those joists. They probably are spanning too far for beams will have to go in, but the exterior, he painted it and got all the new doors and windows in, but everything inside is gutted right now. And he's trying to achieve building
Sure.
permits for it now.
Okay, any other questions for Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from,
No comment, I'm just moving it forward back to, if y'all want to see a
Okay.
different image or don't want to see an image, you just let us know, or what,
Yeah,
if you want
leave
to
it-
look at the
you can leave it
recommendation.
right there? I
Okay.
guess. We'll open it up for,
I think, I like that awning. You know, I think it's actually an improvement. I'm not wild about that roof, and trying to sort of replicate it was sort of making a bad thing worse. I think it lends a little bit of sophistication to it. The roof itself, as it is, in my opinion, it kind of is what it is. But I think that is overall, it's an improvement. You know, as Aaron said, it's not a historic building. It's not part of the historic overlay. It's not a contributing building. It's not a significant building. I mean, I think trying to match something that was already there when what was already there might have been bad, I think is maybe we should.
yeah, no, I agree. I actually like the flat awning better
Yeah, I think-
myself. I think it opens it up more.
Yeah, I think it's a. and
I like it. The paint color doesn't bother me, you know.
I like it being longer too. I think that's a great,
Mhm.
some feedback.
You know, we don't have a drawing of, we don't have anything what the lights are gonna look like on the front. We don't have any of that. Unless he's got a picture or something of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That looks good. Yeah, and I think that looks good on the building. Yeah, it goes with that modern style. I mean, all in all, I think it looks good. You know, I think he's got some issues with permit office and stuff like that, but that's really not our concern. You know, and as far as setbacks and all that, that's not our concern. As far as the general design, I like it. I think it looks good. I think it's a great improvement on it.
Well, I applaud that fence addition because it adds just a perception of depth, even if it's not real far out from the building. I think it adds to the look of it.
Yeah, well, and it's actually on the other side of the sidewalk. That other picture you
Right.
showed, you couldn't tell where it was, but.
Right.
Yeah, so,
So it looks like it's not going to be very deep.
yeah.
That might be a
I
12-foot
think it looks
front yard.
good.
Are the front doors called out in a different color, or what am I looking at?
It's like they're blue.
They do look blue on the rendering.
He doesn't show that.
Do you recall what color are they a light gray or lighter gray or something, or?
Could that be added to our
You-
approval?
You could
saying,
add, you could add
you know,
that
if
to
y'all
our
want to
approval.
look at it,
and-
and, you know, I don't
yeah.
want it to be purple or anything, but, I mean, that looks pretty good to me right there, but I
Yes,
don't
sir.
know what that is.
Smoky light blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody like to make a motion? Any other discussion?
I just want y'all to remind you that the staff actually had a partial denial, so your motion, if you're wanting to approve it as the applicant has presented it with whatever the modifications you may want, it'll be slightly different than that actual.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I'll move to approve as presented
By the applicant?
by the applicant and allow staff to administratively approve the door color if it's in the range of sort of what was shown in that rendering.
Yes.
Is that
Sounds
good?
sounds good.
Okay.
Can I get a
Second.
second? Can we have a motion and a second? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Okay, we will now open it up for public comment. Issues or concerns not on the regular agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the dais, and begin by stating their name and address or single-member district number. Please limit all remarks to less than 3 minutes. Okay, we have none. We will move to announcements. The next regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission is scheduled to begin on Thursday, September 19th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in the City Council South Meeting Room, McNeese Convention Center. Can I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor? We're done. Thank you.